Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. On the morning drive here, I welcome you. Are you ready to play Halo on the PlayStation? What about Gears of War? Guys, these titles are coming. Sooner or later, they are coming. Xbox titles will be on other platforms. That's just the nature of the business. The Xbox 360 marketplace is closing in July. There's a reason for that, right? And let me tell you something. When I was thinking about this marketplace closing, it made me think about what the Xbox 360 brand is. And I feel nostalgic for the Xbox 360. As many of you know, the 7th generation is my favorite generation, hands down. Okay? And I come to the realization, just like many other people in business or what have you, that that brand that existed back then is gone. It was lightning in a bottle, and it will never happen again, right? That type of excitement, that type of innovation, that type of creativity is gone. It no longer exists in the Microsoft brand. Now, I'm not saying that is necessarily a bad thing if you're looking for good games, but if you're looking as to Xbox as the ultimate console maker, that is unlikely to happen. For one fundamental reason, is because the company has changed. Absolutely changed. And let me tell you, that doesn't mean they're going to make worse games, but it does change the nature on how they do business. They're closing down this store because they're not selling enough in order to keep it open. It's just that simple. If they were selling a bunch of games, they wouldn't close it down. Okay? The nature of the company has changed because now they're a game publisher who happens to make a video game console. A video game console that's number 3. And it's number 3 for a reason. It's because people choose to buy the other consoles instead. Right? The market speaks. And the market right now says that the Xbox brand is a secondary or tertiary console. That's what the market is telling you right now, based on sales. And with the acquisition of so many studios by Microsoft for the Xbox brand, it changes the company fundamentally. It changes that brand fundamentally. Let's put the Game Pass model aside for a second. And let's just look at the fact that now they're a game publisher. What is your mission? To sell as many games as you can. That's your mission. The minute you're doing anything against that, right, you're not doing the basic function of business, which is to make the most amount of money possible. That's the function of business. So it's only natural that you see any game, specifically those games that create microtransactions, to be on other platforms. That has to happen, which of course takes off the uniqueness of the Xbox brand, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad for the company, right? Because the company will make more money. And the company has to go into all these different markets because now they're involved in mobile. They're involved in other brands. They're involved with Nintendo. They're involved with Sony. They have contracts to make games for them. So if you're already making games for all these other companies, you might as well go all in and try to sell as much as you can. That's how the company's changed. That uniqueness of the Xbox 360 is gone, right? Those days are long gone by. That was lightning in a bottle that you're not going to see again because the fundamentals of the business have changed. And that might not be a bad thing altogether. Companies evolve, right? But barring anything spectacular happening, like Microsoft buying Sega and started making, Sega branded products, consoles, it is what it is, right? You just have to accept that fact. The Xbox console is not going to be number 1 because it's never going to be their priority. Just like any other business, they have to pivot to what's making the most amount of money. That's the reason Kojima's not at Konami anymore, because his games cost so much to make and produced a certain amount of revenue when they were, producing these shovelware games that almost doubled the company's revenue. and cost a fraction of the cost that Kojima was making games for. It's just a money call. And that's what's happening at Microsoft now. They have to make that money call. We need to sell more games. We need to sell more products in order to be a viable brand. And again, that's aside from the Game Pass model, right? The Game Pass is just another source of revenue. So I am ready. Right? I am ready to see these brands show up on the PlayStation, show up on the Nintendo Switch, show up anywhere, because it's for the good of the company. But at the same time, it makes me nostalgic, guys, because the Xbox 360, man, I have such fondness for the console. I still play it today. I still play that console today, right? And I probably will always play it as long as it works, right? And I have an Xbox, right? But I still turn on the Xbox 360 to watch the screen, you know, and everything that went with it. There was such an excitement back then. We would get excited even for the commercials, man. Listening to Gary Jules, Mad World for Gears of War, that is one of the best video game commercials in history, in my opinion, right? In my humble opinion. But it was a different time. Remember how excited we got for those times. Remember how the launch, right? When the Xbox 360 came out, the launch, playing online, man, in all the different titles. The part I think that made the Xbox 360 brand so special is that they were willing to take chances with so many games, you know, whether it was Japanese titles from Atlas or just brand new IPs coming out, getting creative with it, being excited for new brands, being excited to create new IPs. I mean, that kind of excitement hasn't been there from people since back then, right? That is a long time, guys. That is a long time not to be excited about a brand, right? And that makes quite a difference. It makes a huge difference to the public, which is, you know, who ultimately decide who the winners of these races are. It makes a huge difference for the marketplace, because that's how different companies factor in what brands they're going to carry in their stores, right? Public buzz, marketing, all that stuff. But it's not necessarily bad, guys. It's not necessarily a bad thing. We just need to come to terms with what is. And what is that the Xbox brand has changed fundamentally. And we will see Halo on a PlayStation. All right, humans, thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate it. You guys have a blessed weekend. I have a lot of work to do today, but this weekend I have to go to the tailor's. I got to work on my suit. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.